Am I the asshole for flipping out on boyfriend after he went on a couple's retreat without me? I'm 29 female. My boyfriend is 30 male. I have 2 kids that are not his biologically and we have been together 4 years. Last week his buddy invited him and I to go on a 4-day couple's retreat with him, his wife and his other friend and his GF. Apparently there is couples massages, romantic dinners, etc. We were due to leave today. My boyfriend mentioned it to me so I started looking around for babysitters. Unfortunately I was not able to find a sitter. Their dad hardly ever takes them and their grandmother is just as much of a deadbeat and only sees the kids to post photos on Facebook and act like grandmother of the year. Normally when we make plans he will reach out to his mom or Sil because they are the only people in our area. He didn't do that, so I called them yesterday to see if they would but obviously they couldn't. I figured since I could not go, he would not go on the couple's retreat. I wake up this morning at 5 a.m. to him packing. I asked him what he was doing and he said, packing. I need to leave here by 7 a.m. to meet up with George. So I asked him why he still intended to go on a couple's retreat when his partner couldn't even go and I asked him if he had even wanted me to go since he didn't bother helping me look for a sitter originally anyways and he said, if you wanted to go, you would have found a sitter. I don't have time for this. This really bothered me a great deal. He kissed my forehead and left. 15 minutes ago I get a text from him which included pictures of his suite that had flower petals, champagne, even a heart-shaped bed. I texted back and said, have a good time. He took this as an attack and said, don't be clipped with me. It's not my fault you didn't find a sitter. So I responded with, I wasn't being clipped. And it would have been nice if you could have helped find a sitter. I know they aren't your kids but if you wanted me to go you should have put in effort. He responded with, you're being an asshole right now and quite frankly, you're being overdramatic as well. Am I the asshole for getting upset with the fact that he went without me? Not the asshole. He's supposed to be your partner. The whole, if you wanted to go you would have found a sitter, could easily be turned into, if he wanted you to go he would have found a sitter. It's a weak argument. The fact that he took, have a nice time, as a confrontational text rather than genuine makes it seem to me like he knew he was doing something that would bother you. It's all very unnecessary emo. You aren't the asshole. Not the asshole, and I have a strong feeling that someone who isn't you is there with him. So, your kids aren't his responsibility. He leaves you behind. And you are the asshole. Wow. I wouldn't want someone this selfish, deluded, and uncaring in my life. Pack his shit while he's gone. NTA. This is kinda odd NGL. He went on a retreat for partners, and didn't take you. His partner. Edit. Holy shit. Never thought my most upvoted thing would be pointing out a red flag. The communication between the two of you sucks. You waited a week and called the night before to ask if they could babysit? Why wouldn't you have talked with him about asking his family? Why didn't he tell you he still planned to go? Soft hashtag you are the asshole. You can't go on a trip and that sucks but it is what it is. As of now, he is under no obligation to stop doing things he'd like. He is not married to you and those are not his children. To ask him to not do what he'd like, even if you are dating, isn't fair. Maybe this isn't the right relationship for either of you. Not the asshole WTF. Who's his partner for this retreat? His hand? Not the asshole. Please reconsider this relationship. It seems toxic. Not the asshole. He could have helped getting a sitter even if they aren't his kid. It makes no sense to go on a couple's retreat without your partner. And the way he talked to you isn't really that great. You are the asshole first of all. Why is his family the one doing the babysitting? They're not even related to the kids so yeah it's nice that they help but it shouldn't be expected. You should have other people to rely on for childcare. It's not fair for him to miss out on things because of you or your kids. If you want someone to sacrifice then look elsewhere and leave this man be. Geez. Everyone sucks here. It's not his responsibility to help you find a sitter. And he's not going to not go just because you couldn't. He reacted poorly when you told him to have a good time probably because he felt guilty and that is not an excuse to be an asshole. You are the asshole for being so entitled. You think your partner should help you with babysitting duties for not his kids. There is so much missing from your entry, it is hard to believe your partner would just walk out to go to a retreat without you. I get the feeling this isn't the first time he would miss out on an event because of you being thoughtless. Info: how does his mom and Sil feel about babysitting for you? Does this happen often? It sounds like he may not have wanted to ask them for another favor, and isn't that communicating to you? You should send him a pic of your new apartment. Not the asshole. This is more about perception. You think that you've been together long enough for him to consider you and your kids' family, while he still considers the kids as yours and your family alone. You are the asshole and you sound very entitled. Their grandma isn't a deadbeat, because she doesn't want to babysit your children LMAO. And your boyfriend has been incredibly generous in the past asking his family members to watch kids that aren't even related to them. It sounds like you barely made an effort to find a sitter, expecting your boyfriend to do it, and then got pissed when he didn't even though, ultimately, it's your responsibility. Why should your boyfriend have to miss out on a probably already paid for trip because you couldn't get your shit together? He's probably super bummed he had to go on a couple's trip without you. Everyone on here is telling you to break up with your boyfriend, but, honestly, if I were him I would break up with you. Everyone sucks here. He shouldn't have gone to the couple retreat, but why is he the one who has to do the work to find a sitter and use his family to always babysit whenever he wants to do something with his GF? And she called his mother and his sister the day before, and when they couldn't she just shrugged and said, guess we're missing out on this fun experience 'cause my ex is a deadbeat. I'd be annoyed as well. Not the asshole. Does he realize these retreats aren't supposed to be group outings? The activities are specifically to be done in pairs to help strengthen bonds and create romantic memories, and not with a third wheel hanging out. It would be different if it was a camping trip you couldn't go on, but this is a trip meant specifically for twosomes, and since his other half couldn't go, he shouldn't have gone either. I'd say he typically arranges childcare for children that aren't his. For a woman he's not married to? That's a pretty good deal for you. It sounds like you got used to that special treatment and resent not having it this time. Understandable, but not excusable. What are his parents doing watching his girlfriend's kids anyway? That's extremely generous of them, and it sounds like you're taking it for granted. He's done more than I'd have done. But for him to get offended at, have a nice time, means he was expecting a fight. Maybe that's because you assumed he wouldn't go without you, but I'd say that fight over text was his fault. Unless you actually had some spite behind that text, which is very probable but can't be proven. Jesus, these comments are a shitshow. No assholes here, leaning you are the asshole. The trip was prepaid. It would be an asshole move for him not to go on a trip that his friends specifically paid for him, and you to go on. Just because you couldn't make it doesn't mean no one should get to go. Sounds like he really wanted you to come also, and that is why he's upset. Maybe just be glad that at least one of you gets to enjoy the retreat. Who cares if it's a couples retreat? I would gladly go on a couples retreat alone for free given the opportunity. Free messages and luxury living for 4 days. Sign me TF up. Why is everybody ignoring the fact that he usually contacts his mother and Sil for her kids? Maybe he was just tired of it, wanting her to arrange it once for herself. Not the asshole. Who in the hell goes on a couples retreat alone? Tell him to have fun dating Rosie Palm and her 5 daughters. You are the asshole and you sound very entitled. Their grandma isn't a deadbeat, because she doesn't want to babysit your children LMAO. And your boyfriend has been incredibly generous in the past asking his family members to watch kids that aren't even related to them. It sounds like you barely made an effort to find a sitter, expecting your boyfriend to do it, and then got pissed when he didn't even though, ultimately, it's your responsibility. Why should your boyfriend have to miss out on a probably already paid for trip because you couldn't get your shit together? He's probably super bummed he had to go on a couple's trip without you. Everyone on here is telling you to break up with your boyfriend, but, honestly, if I were him I would break up with you. Y'all need some counseling. This is just bad communication all around. I personally wouldn't want my boyfriend to miss out on a wonderful opportunity just because I couldn't go. I would much rather he go than both miss out. Why would it be so terrible for him to have a good time without you? I understand it sucks, I would be so disappointed, too, but expecting him to pass on a trip that sounds downright amazing is a little selfish, I think. Again, I totally empathize, I would be so disappointed. But expecting him to give something up because you can't have it is slightly self-absorbed. I'm going with you or the asshole. Not the asshole. Yes, they are your kids and your responsibility. But come on, in a relationship for 4 years, living together, and he doesn't want to take some responsibility for the children he's committed to help raise by being in a committed relationship with their mother, living in the same house. I mean, unless he doesn't see your kids as anything but inconvenient forced roommates. That wouldn't be okay with me anyway. He should have helped find a sitter because he is your partner, but TBH, he should go if he wants because they are not his kids. YTA. He's not your husband. If going was important to you, you would have found childcare. Now you're just being petty. And, flippy out. Are you a baby? Who acts like that? You are the asshole. You specifically mentioned they aren't his kids. What is he supposed to do? Nah. Not his kids, not his problem. The thing is, do you want to be with someone who actually doesn't see your kids as part of his family and doesn't take any responsibility for them? Not the asshole. A relationship is a partnership. He should have been looking for a sitter as well. As for going on the couple's retreat alone, he obviously puts more value on alone time than with you and the kids. Big ol' red flag there. Perhaps a re-evaluation is called for here. Everyone sucks here. Both yours and his communication skills are severely lacking. Therapy or bust. No assholes here, and the way that people are immediately assuming he's cheating and saying dump him is alarming. Couple or no couple, after a long hard week at work, a weekend in a hotel, away from the kids, dinners out and a massage sounds amazing. Plus he's with friends. Everyone calm down. Most of y'all haven't dated an actual abuser and it shows. Not the asshole, but mostly because he was pretty passive-aggressive about it when you were just asking for his help. Very unnecessary to send you photos of the retreat after he left you at home with the kids. I think it's a little weird he still wanted to go without his partner, but that doesn't necessarily make him the asshole. His comments do though. Hope you guys can work through it. Good luck. Not the asshole. Dump him. His friend had someone for him, obviously. Not the asshole. Is he usually a passive-aggressive asshole? I would find myself looking for someone that actually wants to take me on a couple's weekend. Not the asshole. It's pretty obvious you put a higher priority on the relationship than he does. You have every right to be pissed. But, you need to speak up when you make assumptions like him not going. It will clarify things for both of you. They are your kids, not his. It's your responsibility to find a sitter. However, it doesn't sound like you were an asshole about it. Are you giving an accurate account of how you reacted? I see no flip out here. You are the asshole. I have been in a relationship for 8 years with a girlfriend that has a child. She makes no effort to go. This situation sounds the same to me. If you wanted to really go, you could have figured it out. Not the asshole. He could have at least told you that he wanted to go ahead and go instead of letting it be a surprise. Not sure as he was rubbing it in when he sent pics or if he is that clueless. Info: did he already pay for it? If he paid for the hotel room etc. and can't get a refund, I can kind of understand going even if solo, but I still don't think that would make you ta. I'm gonna be controversial. You are the asshole. You waited until the last minute to ask his family to take your kids. And it's good, they normally look after them for you. Why are you dependent on him looking for a sitter? He might have something going on and bottled it up so his mind ain't clear. Overall, you are the asshole, and I feel you're leaving details out to make yourself look better. Not the asshole. However, aside from his bad attitude and not helping you find a sitter, he's not the asshole either. I am a stepmom and I have to say stepping into a step-parent role is really difficult, and if you revolve your life and all your plans around kids that aren't yours, it can lead to burnout, resentment, and it kills the romance pretty quickly. What I'm saying is that he's not an asshole because he still wanted to go on a trip with his friends even if you couldn't be there. Him sending those pictures to give you FOMO knowing it would make you jealous is kind of petty. He's not responsible to find a sitter. I feel like you are both being childish. I understand him still wanting to go, but he should be missing you or more sad that you couldn't make it instead of how he is, if that makes sense. It's weird all around and kind of suspicious, like he's trying to get away from you or rub it in your face that you couldn't come and that's some underlying problem. You are the asshole. To me it seems there's a lot left out of this story. You say he's not the father of the kids and he's your boyfriend. This makes it seem that maybe you two aren't all that serious yet? Also, I have a son and I wouldn't expect a girlfriend to find him a babysitter if I left. That's my job. So although I don't know the full story, I suspect there's more to the story. Not the asshole for all of the reasons other people have said, except the cheating accusations. I think that's a gigantic, unfounded assumption. As for everyone saying, he shouldn't have to help, your kids are your responsibility. If you choose to move in with a romantic partner with young children, those young children become your responsibility as well. If you don't want to take responsibility for children, do not move in with your partner who has kids. It's totally ridiculous to say that just because they aren't married, all of the responsibility for their care should fall on her. If you're 6, just throwing out an age based on how young Op is, and your household consists of you, your sibling, your mom, and your mom's boyfriend of 4 years who lives with you, you see him as a parental figure. Info: was the retreat refundable or not? 'Cause that would 100% sway my decision depending on the answer. Also, if it was refundable, did you know this beforehand? I think he had already decided he was going, with or without you. In his mind he sees this as a vacay, and you not being able to find a babysitter was in his mind, not my problem. He has his buddies and thinks this is going to be a party weekend. He may get humbled when his buddies end up spending more time with their wives and he ends up alone for the majority of the time. If it was just the two of you looking forward to this time away, he probably would have been jumping through hoops to help you find a sitter, but he's with friends and thinks it's no big deal. I also wonder if his friends ended up asking where you were and made him feel guilty about going alone, which is why he reacted so dramatically to your text. You are the asshole. He was too, because how he handled the situation, but you being mad because he go for the couple thing isn't a very nice action. TBH, I don't think this is about cheating. I think he secretly resents you have kids. You should have found a sitter, like he's been with you 4 years and doesn't help find a sitter, doesn't think of those kids as his responsibility either? That's fucking weird if you ask me.